You're my cousin, and I want to marry you.
Oh, my dearest cousin. Let us marry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Awkward Squad Reviews. Today, we are going to be reviewing the 2000 movie Persuasion, based on the book Persuasion by Jane Austen. And this is starring Sally Hawkins, because I actually looked at the cast this time. Sally Hawkins, Rupert Penry-Jones, and Amanda Hale, and I didn't look at any of the other names. I'm sorry.
I think that's enough.
Should be fine. If you want to watch our reaction to the Persuasion movie, it is going to be up there in the little info card area, right? And we had an interesting reaction, and now we are going to review the movie, kind of like what we did with Emma in both the 1996 and 2020 movies. So you can also check those out up there. So I say we just get right into it. Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we're starting off with the camera work. So we're in pre-production land. How did you guys like the camera work?
It's very disorienting.
Yeah. So, I will acknowledge that that the constant disorientation was because of the lag.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that really put me off. But there were definitely parts where it wasn't just the lag. Like, I didn't really like any of the parts that had the shaky cam.
Mm-hmm.
Shaky cam is usually reserved for, like, moments that are either supposed to feel disorientating or, like, action movies.
Yeah.
So I felt that was kind of a weird choice.
I think it was kind of supposed to be disorienting at certain points, because, like, in the beginning, right, she's running around, she's going up the stairs, she's very confused, she's very rushed, right? They're leaving the house. And then in the end, she's running around, she's trying to find Captain Wentworth, and she's learned all this information just like us. Like, we've all learned all this information within the span of 5 minutes. And so I think they made that like a purposeful choice. Like, let's do the shaky cam so that like you can really get in Anne's headspace. I think it didn't have the desired effect though, because we were already disoriented. We were already in her headspace. Like, we did not need more shaky cam to like really mess us up. So I don't think that was a good choice. I understand why they did it though.
And then the weird kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Oh yeah, the camera angle for that was weird.
Yeah, it was like we were on Wentworth's shoulder.
Yeah. I think part of it was also just the fact that the kiss took so long. Like,
yes.
Yeah,
it was like uncomfortably prolonged. Like, it was like, and you're like, okay, 2 hours later, they're like here, and you're like, okay, can we just get to the kiss now already? Like,
yeah, you looked like straight up fish. I'm telling you.
I don't know what my face looked like during that scene, but I felt like uncomfortable with how long the kiss was going.
Yeah. The first time I saw it a couple months ago, I was like, all right, this is too long.
I think the weird angle also like makes it even more uncomfortable because you're like so close. Like, that must have been really uncomfortable to shoot.
Yeah. Could you imagine like the camera just like resting on his shoulder and then they're like zooming in, all right, and action. Okay. You know what would have been really funny? If they had like gone through that whole long process and then the camera just cuts away. And they're like, what?
Or like they do that and it's like, okay, yes, you do actually have something in your eye.
Oh no.
And then they weren't ever going for the kiss.
We're just like analyzing. No, there's an eyelash right there. We should probably get that. but no, like no comments. Just silently getting closer and closer, and then be like, oh yeah, it's like right there. Got it. Okay. Just so all right, let's go. That would have been really funny. Okay. Next up, though, we have the casting. Speaking of Rupert Penry-Jones, so what did we think about the casting?
The actor. The only thing I want to say about anything other than the actor for Wentworth is the actress for Mary. Like, it bothered me throughout the whole movie because I'm like, I know I've seen her before, or at least someone who looks like her, but like I just could not put my finger on it.
Yeah. You know what always confused me is I always get the actress who played Anne Elliot, Sally Hawkins, and the actress who played Fanny in Mansfield Park. I always get them confused. They look so similar to me.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't put that on the channel yet, but eventually we will get to Mansfield Park. But if you guys look, I think it was 1996 also, right? Or 97?
That
It was
movie
in the
definitely
90s at some point.
will have me hiding under the table again.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. But, like, that actress, she looks so similar to the actress who played Fanny.
The only other thing I want to say about casting is Wentworth, which is just I don't think he portrayed all of the emotions well enough. Because, like Shree pointed out, he looked depressed half of the time.
I understand what you're saying, but like for me, like that's kind of how I pictured Wentworth to be. You know, doesn't really show a lot of emotion. Just very serious, not saying very much with his face. And I know with like Johnny Flynn in as Knightley, we did see a lot more of that.
So maybe that is what it's supposed to be like. But in a movie like this, where you have so much the required story, the facial expressions would be that much more important so that you feel the feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
If you have one of the two main leads be stoic when you don't have as much time to be able to naturally show their interest in each other, it doesn't work as well. It doesn't make you feel the relationship as much.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I totally agree.
I was also really confused about how much time was supposed to be passing.
Yeah, that too.
I was gonna say that I think that I don't know why they fit the story the way they did. I feel like they could have done it better. Like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of like a little bit of the problems Emma 2020 had. It felt like it was like fast, short, fast, small, you know, like, or fast, slow, fast, slow. And I feel like that's kind of what they did in this one too. And it kind of it gave off the same kind of throwing you off effect that Emma 2020 did. And I think that's also part of the issue. I think if they had done the pacing better, I think it would have been wildly better in production aspect, you know. Which makes it interesting because they did come out with a modern Persuasion. So I'm interested to see how they go about it. You know, I'm kind of especially because I think this is the only Persuasion movie there is. Yeah. Up next, now we going into the plot kind of area, talking about kind of just the plot and storyline. I can't speak for all of us. I really did not like the Elliots for the most part.
Same.
I said this in the reaction. I don't know if I'll keep it in or not, but I don't know why Captain Wentworth would willingly put himself with those kind of in-laws. I'm sorry. I just can't imagine why that would be awful to deal with. Especially because they live
that much.
I mean, yeah, clearly he does. The rest of the Musgroves are decent human beings. I can't understand her. Like, it's just nobody can. Like, I was telling this to Rebecca and Tree earlier, but before we started recording today, we were talking about disciplining like kids and stuff, and to me, I see Mary's behavior because she is the baby of the family. I see Mary's behavior as a result of not being, disciplined as a child. Like, no, you cannot have everything you want whenever you want it, however you want it, and just throw a tantrum, like every time she throws a tantrum or something, she'll be like, and they give in, right? That's just, I feel like Mary is the result of that for me. Like, she is like, like if you, why should, like, for parents who don't do that, who don't discipline their kids or whatever, Mary, right there. You don't want to end up like her, okay? Don't no. Nobody wants to be around that. Or her father and other sister, for that matter, either. Let's be honest. But I feel like Mary is the one who got on my nerves the most, because I feel like she had such potential. But then she just didn't. Like, she just went with the misbehaving route. I didn't like any of the other Elliots either, though. I thought they were vain, and there's a word for people who live outside of their means, but I can't think of it to save my life.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about. There's a word.
I can't think of it. I was trying to think of it in the reaction too. I could not think of it. I'm thinking it's like a mix of extravagant, irresponsible, and squandering. If you can mix those three together, I feel like that's the Elizabeth and Mr. Elliot.
Yes.
I think it's partially pride.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, especially because of how Mr. Elliot was around the rich family member, right, of their family, the dowager. I don't even remember what title she was. She was just a dowager.
Yeah.
But besides that, and then how he treated like Anne and Mary, right? They're very different in how he and I don't know. I don't like that. But to be fair, I feel like I would be more likely to be near a Mary, which is probably why I feel more strongly about how Mary is acted. I feel like the people I would not even dream of being closely attached to somebody that's like the Elizabeth Elliot and Mr. Elliot. I don't think I would ever be near having a close relationship with them. So I think the reason I'm so upset with how Mary was is because I can probably find myself around those kind of people more often than I do the other Elliots. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I wholeheartedly agree. Like, I hate the Elliots. And I think you're supposed to feel that way.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But then we get to the only Elliot we didn't talk about, and that's Anne. Okay, so we see Anne as kind of a doormat. And I think that is the whole point of the title of the book, Persuasion, because she was so easily persuaded to not marry Wentworth. And so I think doormat is a pretty good term for her. That's kind of how we see her. But it's also not exactly doormat either. She doesn't give off doormat vibes in that sense, like you can just walk all over her. And I think she does it so that everybody would just like make a decision and then move on. Like, for example, the little boy who fell out of the tree. When they came and it came time for them to leave, and Mary's making a big fuss, as she does, and Anne is just like, okay, I'll do it. Don't worry about him. It's fine. Go. Right? That wasn't more doormat level, especially because Mr. Musgrove, like the dad, Mr. Musgrove, was are you sure? I don't want to do this to you, kind of deal. Like, it's very kind of you to offer, but it's okay. And she's like, no, I'm totally sure. And then it's like,
partially because she's like, yes, I'm getting out of seeing Mr. Wentworth.
yeah, yeah. There was no ulterior motives here.
No,
What?
no.
But so
I agree.
that's not giving me doormat vibes. More like, just okay, make a decision, go, do it. Like, I'll like that. But there's not really a word for that.
Sure, you were saying that you were annoyed by it, right?
Yes. That's I forgot I wanted to mention that. Yes, based on like how passive and how much of like a pushover she is, and kind of like the doormatty vibes that I was getting. Like, I was so mad sometimes because she wouldn't tell, like, most of the Musgraves, for example, had no idea she was engaged prior to meeting Mr. Wentworth, right? So like they were just talking about like, ooh, he's so handsome, ooh, he's so cool, he's so awesome.
Yeah,
And then like at
but
the last possible moment, she's just like, oh yeah, we've met before.
that's not so much a doormat thing as it is just not something she wants to bring up.
Yeah,
It's not even
and it's
that.
more.
It's her being passive. It's not standing up for herself.
No,
Like,
see,
No, I
not.
would disagree.
Yeah, I would disagree as well. I think
It's something
that
that I wouldn't bring up either.
yeah,
I wouldn't want to
it,
talk
it
about
was
it.
like,
It would be
and
too much drama, and
but
I wouldn't want to go through that.
it's
yeah,
not a
and
lot of drama though. It's just you
Yes,
being
it
like,
is.
hey, can you shut up for a little bit? Like
well, no, I think
that's
that
That's still
literally
not
all it
something I would
is.
do.
yeah,
I
I think in
Look at her
general,
family. Look at the headache that her family is.
That is
mm,
true. But I mean, the Musgraves would have been
Saying
okay
that
with
she
it.
saying that would have made them even more of a headache.
yeah, and then also just on a personal level, right? If I had been Anne Elliot, right, I may not have wanted to hear what they were saying about Wentworth, right? Regret, anything else, whatever, right? But then I feel like had I been like, okay, you need to stop, right? Who am I to say that they should stop talking about Wentworth? If they want to talk about Wentworth, let them talk
Your
about Wentworth. I
feelings.
may be,
Literally,
I,
it's annoying to you if it's very
but
like
it's
disturbing to
one
you.
person
It's
versus
you. Too bad.
3 or
It's your
4 other
feelings.
people.
I
It's
just,
not that important to them.
I
If
feel
it's
I
like
very
just
that would
feel
important
be
to you, you
something.
should stand up for yourself.
for me, it's less a standing up for yourself because it's not like they're purposefully doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not purposefully doing it. So it wouldn't have
So
caused a lot of
stand.
drama.
Yeah,
It just hurt you. You know, it
okay,
doesn't need to
no.
I
be
didn't know
So
she was
the new
engaged.
hottest
That would
guy,
have been drama.
the new hottest
exactly.
guy,
They
where they're all
don't
like,
know
"Oh,
that she
I
was
want to marry
engaged.
him." Oh yeah, I used to be engaged, so maybe you can stop talking about it in front of me. Probably would have still been. They're like, "Wait, you've been engaged to him?" Like, and they
First
would
of all, she
bother
was
her more.
engaged, and then engaged to him. So that's 2 things that they did not know about. And then,
Okay,
it's
Especially since
that's
that's like,
okay.
okay,
new
You can
hottest thing,
explain.
he's the talk of the town. Then you who say that you used to be engaged to said talk of the town, especially with a family like Anne
hers.
has,
Hmm.
there's no way that's not getting out.
Yeah. Especially, and it doesn't she seem that she wants news of this engagement to get out in the first place,
Yeah.
right? She kept it a secret for 8 years. Only 4 people knew about it.
Would you really want to talk about getting your heart broken in that way?
Yeah. Yeah, like Lady Russell asking her if he's written after he became rich. That was a stupid question.
Oh yeah.
Why would he write to her? She broke off their engagement because he was poor and didn't have a title. That's a
Yeah.
terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Lady Russell's like, well, now that his situation's changed, why didn't he talk? No, you can't expect that. It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's just not something I would want to talk about. And so I get where she's coming from there. I have a family that has a lot of people with strong personalities. I'm not saying they're like they're like the Elliots.
The Elliots,
No. They're very nice people.
I love my family very much, but I also understand Anne's position of being the one to like offer to maybe do stuff that I don't necessarily want to do, but I'd rather do that than deal with the headache of
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that even with the Musgroves, that would have just been. It would have just. They would have asked. It wouldn't have just been a set and done deal. Like there would have to be some explanation in there.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to rehash that, especially if her feelings are, and as we see, she did love him.
Mhm.
Especially if her feelings are still that strong, why would she want to bring that back up? And then it's like I said, personally, I would not like. They're not doing it maliciously. They're just talking about it because he's the new big thing, right? And you know what? If they want to talk about him, they can talk about him. It may like I have two legs. I can walk outside of the room, or I have a brain that can get distracted. I'll distract myself. I don't have to. I'm not. I'm not in like. I'm not entitled to be the one person that ends this conversation.
It's just making others aware of your situation so that they can be
Okay.
more considerate around you. That's not entitlement. That's just basic
Okay. But
consideration.
And then it's not like it's negative or anything, right? It's not like they're saying terrible things about Anne in Anne's presence. They're not. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not doing anything
if it
wrong.
was
If it
if
was
they've been doing it maliciously,
yeah.
then it would be a standing up for herself issue. But in this situation, it's just something she doesn't want to talk about, and hearing them talk about him doesn't bother her enough that she would like open up that topic.
But I can respect where you guys are coming from.
I think the issue is your personality doesn't let you.
I cannot fathom doing that. That would be
Um,
absolute torture for me.
and you are also someone who would like to be part of the discussion more. Anne, I think, is pretty similar to me in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Because I would definitely, in that situation, I wouldn't want to talk about it, and I would just I would just think about something else.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's less of a she can't stand up for herself thing and more of a she just doesn't want to talk about it.
Like I said, I still don't agree. I still don't. I still think she should have said something, but I can respect her now.
But
Because
also,
before I did not respect her for not saying anything at all. I was like, wow, that's so stupid. And now I kind of respect it.
but now since we're kind of in this mode, let's talk about confusion. There was some confusion here. We talked about it a little bit earlier with
Confusion.
pacing and stuff. The pacing and some of the camera work leaving us disoriented. But here we have open forums. Let us speak on this matter.
So I'm gonna be
If you guys think
real,
about this.
right? Like after the point, like pretty much at the point when they introduced like all three captains, right? And that scene when they're all at dinner, that's when I started to get confused because I was like, okay, they all look the same and everything is laggy and their voices sound the same too.
I
So I can't
I
tell
do
who's
not see
saying
them
what.
looking the same.
Same.
I don't.
Do, bro. I don't know. Maybe these glasses. I don't know.
I just felt overwhelmed, not really confused.
Yeah, I get that. That especially the ending. The ending was like a rush. Like after watching it, I needed to take a minute to sort it out. I was like, "What just happened?" Okay,
Well, I was
I
thinking,
understand now.
what?
What's going on? How did this happen? No, I get that.
Everything was confusing. So I can't really say anything specific. I didn't understand. I do think I should read the book though, because I feel like I'll understand it there, and then maybe I'll actually enjoy it. So
I
Yeah.
I don't know.
definitely got the vibes that it would be a good book.
Yes! Yay! We segued! That was like a good segue, guys. And that wasn't even planned. Look at that.
Or was it?
Ooh, Shri was thinking ahead. No, but yeah, it was. Well, our next topic was actually that the story doesn't really fit, like in a movie form as much as we think it should. or that it could have. And I think that partially goes back to a little bit the pacing. I think that's part of it. I think had the pacing been better, it would have fit a lot smoother.
But I would also argue that there's just so much that Persuasion is a lot of things coming together to like, it's not like a specific thing that pushes forward. It's just a lot of different things overlapping and contributing to push the story forward. So a lot of things you need to have in the story, but also feel tangential at the same time. So I really think that if you wanted to make a movie of Persuasion, you might have to do a bit of character merging or character just removing.
Yeah.
So Henrietta, I feel like they could have just cut. They also took the time to be like, oh yeah, Henrietta is married to Charles Hayter, which I still love that his name is Hayter.
I think that was supposed to be
but Wentworth is going to marry either Louise or Henrietta, but which will it be? And and so that whole thing just kind of felt tangential.
I think that what they should have done, I think they could have kept it the way that they had it until we talked about the engagement. And then after that whole scene where they visited Hayden or Hader, whatever, I think that they could have that's where they should have dropped it. Like, that carriage ride back with Mr. and Mrs. Or Admiral and Mrs. Croft, I think, because they also mentioned the whole, which one will it be? I think that was unnecessary.
Yeah, that kind of made it seem like that was going to be a thing. Like, they were going to have a Henrietta and Louise competing for Mr. Wentworth.
Yeah. I think that if they had time, maybe they could have done something like that. But I don't think that's
so much.
Yeah, that would be too much.
And then you have Mr. Elliot, who, another thing, he's essential but also feels very tangential at the same time. Because
I just think they didn't approach him very well. I think they could have approached him better to make it look more like he was a part of the story, right?
He just kind of showed up every once in a while.
Yeah,
and they're like, he's kind of suspicious, and then, but it was really just there to be like, oh no, so
Wentworth has competition.
Yeah, and for Wentworth to think, oh, she's already engaged, and to cause that drama.
Totally missing
but
the point.
As is, it's just kind of like a guy who happens to like her, and is like entangled with her family, has this like side plot line.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it had multiple things of those, where it just made the story less cohesive, and also they're just putting so much in that nothing really fully settled well.
Yeah. So that expanded Anne and Wentworth's relationship.
Yeah,
because honestly, okay, like, we're supposed to be rooting for them, right? Like, the whole time. And we're supposed to be, like, seeing moments of them, like, interacting and stuff.
I just
where are those moments?
Enough. Like, I get that, like, he's seeing how her family treats her, and so he's getting an idea of why she turned him down.
Yeah.
And I get that, so, like, that's softening him toward, but I would have liked to see them reconnect. Like, have more scenes where now that he's not so angry at her, that he's, like, maybe seeking her out, and they're talking, and, they have conversations that prove that spark is still there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, for sure. That leads us to final thoughts. So,
Confusion.
Who wants to start? I have no thoughts. I can't think.
Persuasion, confusion.
Persuasion, confusion. Perfect. Couldn't have said it
That's
better
her
myself. Yes, pretty
Uh,
much.
Anybody else?
So my final thoughts is I didn't hate the movie or anything, but I definitely think it was mishandled. And I think I would have to read the book to fully understand what I think that they should have done.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone who has never read the book, just watching it, there were so many tangential things that it really detracted from the main relationship that you're supposed to be rooting for.
The ultimate takeaway, I guess, con of this movie was that they just didn't show the two of them enough.
Yeah.
Right? So we saw her, like, Louisa and Wentworth talking, and then her looking in on that, right? And we saw her and him talking in, in that family dinner, in the, they didn't even talk in the carriage, I don't think, And so,
they're just kind of looking at each other.
Yeah, most of the times they've talked are with other people around, and they can't really talk about their feelings in front of other people. I'm just saying, that's just, you don't do that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that they could have capitalized more on, I guess, the growing tension between them, but they didn't. But I do have to admit, I really liked the ending. Especially when they were dancing to the music. I don't see how you guys don't think that's romantic. That is so romantic.
Because we're both more logical when it comes to these things, and just the logistics of, yes, I'm so happy. I get the whole romantic move of him buying the house. That was really cute.
Yes.
But then, they're hugging, and then suddenly, no talking. They're just yes, let's dance.
Okay, yes, saying it like that, just randomly dancing, yes, it's a little strange.
Because that's what it was.
That's what happened.
But that happens, I've seen,
they didn't talk at all. They just transitioned from a hug to dancing in some grass with no music while they're
the lack of music is not that bad, okay?
The lack of hung out in the corner.
I'm okay, are we good to go? What is happening here?
I guess my final thoughts are, I feel like the story has plenty of potential, and I can see it making a very good book, but at least the way that they decided to adapt it did not work as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was too much for the movie to do.
Did I say final thoughts? I mean, I don't really have a lot of final thoughts. I like this movie. It's not a bad one. I mean, they could have capitalized a lot more on Wentworth and Anne. So that is it for our review of Persuasion 2007. We hope you liked it. And tell us what you thought of this movie also in the comments down below. Tell us
if you think there's anything in particular story they could have done better.
Yes, and anything we might have missed. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so that you know anytime we upload. And like we said, comment down below anything, what you liked about this movie, what you didn't like about anything we might have missed. I'm sure we missed something. Somebody's gonna be like, what about this? I'm like, oh, yeah, we probably should have talked about that, So be sure to let us know.
We can talk about it in the next Persuasion movie review.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll have to plan that out.
Too.
Oh, nice job. And check out our Instagram. I was about to say Instagram channel. That's not right. Instagram account. Link in the description below. And we post on there when we upload also. So check us out there. So we're really glad that you decided to join us today. And please check out all our other videos, up there. We have Emma, we have, the Grinch, but, it's, even though it might not be Christmas, it's never a bad time to watch a Christmas movie, and we all know that. So be sure to check those out, and we hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys!
Bye.